Hey everybody, welcome to Omens. I'm your host Ryan, AM Air Pronouns, and this is a redone introductory video. Um, so basically, I had an episode 0, which was an introduction, and then a buddy of mine was like looking through my stuff and was like, "Hey, you should really link an introduction video because you got like almost 50 episodes here, and what if somebody was like, what the heck is all this about?" and they don't really want to scroll back? I was like, that's a good idea. Also, I should probably update that introduction video. So, here we are. Um, so, like I said, I'm Ryan. I am the proprietor of OwlFoxOmens. My sort of business. It's a side business right now. It's still kind of in the hustle areas of this recording, working and getting it up more um, into more of a business type deal. Um, but for now, still kind of a side hustle. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I've been reading tarot professionally for about the last 2 years, and I started getting into it about 6 years ago or so. Got a little stonewalled, like, because I tend to learn cognitively, and so when the book is like, here's how you read them separately, have fun, and then I'm like, but what do I do when I put them together? When I don't have a mentor or anybody else who reads tarot, I get kind of stuck. Until I moved down to where I'm currently living and met another tarot reader who was like, oh, here's how you da da da. I'm like, that makes sense. And off I took into the wild blue yonder. Um, but anyway, so now I've been reading tarot for, like I said, professionally for a couple of years, and for myself for a couple more years longer. Um, and what else? I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I read based off the feelings I get, the images I have, the knowledge I have stored, squirreled away somewhere deep in the memory, and kind of it's intuitive, and it's also a little bit channeled because like I talk to my cards. I'm an animist, so I'm like, they have a soul, they have spirit. I talk to other spirits. It's like, what do you need to say type deal, and so they tell me, and I let the message, I speak the message out and to the best of my ability, because sometimes translating pictures into words is ridiculously difficult, especially when the words keep running away and you have to go hunt them down. But I digress. So anyway, so I'm a witch, and I'm a little bit of an armchair occultist in that I do witchy stuff, but it's more. But I prefer to actually be reading books as opposed to actually doing anything. Though I'm sure that will change when one of my guides comes up and kicks my ass and tells me it's time to start doing actual work. Um, but for now, I'm building a nice knowledge base, and part of that brought out the idea for Omens. That started as a YouTube video series, and I'm now turning it into a podcast as well. Um, I'm basically just translating the videos to podcast series. I'm not recording the whole freaking thing. I've got over 50 episodes now. Though I will eventually be redoing some of my early episodes because they're not the best quality. Um, So, I was listening to podcasts at one point, and one of them, which was a tarot podcast, I was like, but you could dive so much deeper into something else over here, and I want to explore this. And I'm like, well, hang on, why don't I do that? Oh, because I have no incentive to, so it will sit on my TBR pile for like 30 years before I actually get around to it. So, let me give myself some incentive by blathering on to other people. So I was like, that'd be a good idea. So I'm like actually writing stuff out, doing the research, and then putting it all out in a lecture format on a video. Which is why, even though I've thought about possibly adding underlying music to the videos, I haven't, because it's a lecture format. And it just, no music really quite goes well with it. Um, but anyway, so that's what I do, is I take one tarot card at a time, and I spend anywhere from 45 to 30 minutes to 60 minutes on it. Occasionally, you will see some shorter ones that are only like 37 minutes. I don't know how I managed that. Usually, I was talking too fast, and I didn't have a whole lot written, and it was the end of a recording day, so yeah, that happens. Um, anyway, so I take one card, and I break it down into a multitude of layers, all the layers that have gone into or been ascribed to or slowly formed in or been found in tarot. That is, so I start with the numerology, I'll move into um, the astrology, the Kabbalah, a couple of special decks that have their own little bent to them that I'm currently going through because it adds a nice little resonance, I think. And sometimes, and one of them kind of adds like a whole nother perspective too, occasionally, which I find pretty cool because tarot is all about perspective, about the intuition that comes from those different perspectives. And like sometimes this card is going to mean this, and sometimes it's going to mean this, and sometimes it's going to mean that. It's always changing, always different. So I basically go through each of the layers, I stack them up, put them all out there, and then at the very end I was like, I'd go, okay, and here's the traditional keywords for it upright, keywords for it inverse, and now we have all of this together. And for each section, I have a different tarot card from one of my different decks. Well, the same tarot card from different decks, basically. And I'll show them, and I'll try to, when I remember to, which is most of the time, luckily, and I'm getting better at it, I'll try to basically read that card based off the section. So I'm like, so sometimes it'll be something that stumps me. It'll be like, how do I tie this into this? And like recently, I was recording the tower, and when I was researching it, I found something about the tower that I had never freaking thought of and blew my mind. And I'm like, I have to share this with all my tarot friends. So watch that episode if you want to know what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll break it down, I'll read it, go all through it, and then I'll put it out there on a video, and people can take it as they like. Cause yeah, and it's been fun. I've been doing this since August of 2020. Yeah, August 2020, and still going strong. Like I said, I ended 2021 with an even 50 episodes. I did have like one time where I had to take a mental break, 1 week, so that's where I ended with 50 instead of like 51 or something. Now, Omens is not really beginner friendly, I guess, because I like to talk. I like to teach. And I know sometimes when I get on a ramble about something tarot wise, even if it's for somebody who's a brand newbie at tarot or who just kind of dips their toe in, which that's fine. They're playing with tarot, they're divining, they're listening to the intuition. Great. Once I start getting to the scholarly professor mode, as one of my friends likes to call it, I tend to watch their eyes glaze, and they're just kind of like, uh huh, yeah, yeah, okay, cool. Just like completely over the head. This might be that a little bit. I hope it's not 100%. I mean, if you are like brand new, know absolutely nothing about tarot, I do have a Tarot 101 3-part extra series. Go check that out because I go over the basics of tarot, of what it is, how it's structured, the different suits, the courts, the majors, all that. I just give you basically an overview of the basics. However, if you are that brand new, like you don't, if you're just taking a refresher, that's always cool. If you're like absolutely brand new, a lot of what I say might go over your head a little bit for a little while, but if you're interested, stick with it. Like, stick with it. Even if you don't get it the first time, you might come back to it a couple years later and go, oh, that's what that is. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that adds a new layer. That's my hope anyway, is that, this just adds to your knowledge. That it just enhances tarot for you, that it just makes things seem like more interesting, more, even if you don't 100% consciously understand it or you don't manage to remember it all, your unconscious, your intuition, that's going to remember it. And someday when you're reading tarot, you're going to be like, what is this card even about? What is it saying? And something's going to click and you're going to go, oh, that, where the hell did I learn that? And you may never remember. I don't fucking care. As long as you have the information and it's there and it enhances your experience, that's all I give a shit about. And also, I cuss on this podcast. If you hadn't noticed, I'm not good at censoring myself. But anyway, so that's my hope with Omens, is that you learn something. Even if you don't know you learned something, you learn something. And you take that into your divination practices. And even if you set this up as background noise because for some weird reason you find my voice soothing, I don't know anyone that would, but I mean, if you do, you do. So, whatever. If you just set it up as background noise, or if you're just like, I just gotta have white noise of some kind, throw it on there. Maybe you learn something. Maybe your unconscious retains something. Maybe your subconscious retains something. Maybe you wake up in a panic in the middle of the night going, what the fuck? maybe, maybe you don't. but whatever. So long as it's helpful and useful for you, that's all I care about. That's why I'm putting it out there because it helps me learn. It helps me learn to teach or lecture. It hopefully maybe somebody comes across it and goes, "Oh, that's kind of cool," and learns something from it, or just sends it to somebody they think would like it who might learn something from it. Whatever, what have you. So that's Omens. I do not have a specific end for this series. I mean, I'm limited by the number of tarot cards, but I don't have a specific end. Um, that said, this is mainly tarot, but if you actually go through my videos, you'll notice there's a lot of astrology, especially starting around, I want to say, uh, early 2021. I started really getting into astrology and really adding it on, so it's kind of become its own separate thing. So the format of this podcast, of this series, is three times a month I release videos on Sunday, the second, third, and fourth Sundays. Occasionally the fifth. I do have plans for fifth Sundays from here on out as of this recording, but they tend to be kind of up in the air a little bit more often. Um, first first release second Sunday is a minor arcana card. Third Sunday is a astrology thing, and a plant and a crystal. And fourth Sunday is a major arcana. Fifth Sunday will usually be something extra, though currently I've got a bunch of things that can't really make a whole podcast on their own planned out. Well, separated out, they can't make a whole podcast on their own in astrology. Because originally I wasn't 100% sure about my second episode of the month. I was like, yeah, I'll do a crystal and a plant or an herb because that's what every witchy podcast does. So I'll start there and maybe it'll evolve into something. I had runes for a while and then they kind of phased out, and I didn't realize for 3 months that, oh, hey, I haven't been actually been using a rune in these like for a while. I originally thought through oracle cards as a possibility, but I never actually got around to that. Um, so it's turned into kind of just whatever I'm currently interested in, and currently that is astrology. So I've got a planned out, basically an astrological course in the middle of all this tarot. So that's what you're getting, is you're getting both a course in tarot and a course in astrology at the same time. I kind of hesitate on the course because I'm both teaching and learning at the same time. So you're learning alongside me is more what's happening, more so than I'm just teaching you stuff I already know. I'm learning stuff and I'm presenting it, and anyone who watches is basically learning alongside me is what happens. So that's basically the format and the structure of this podcast or video series, however you're seeing it, or hearing it, or whatever. And that's me. And this is the outside of the building where I usually record. I had recorded this inside the building, but for some reason my computer's been acting kind of wonky all day, and now I'm worried about some of my other videos, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, but I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you stick around and check some videos out. You don't have to watch them in order. You can watch them, and you don't have to watch every single one. It's literally just watch what the heck you want to. If you turn one thing on for 5 seconds and then you're like, yeah, no, his voice is irritating me right there, and turn another thing on. That's cool. Um, do what you do you. Alright, so I hope this has been informative. I hope y'all stick around, kind of figure out what you do or don't like. And if you want to check me out other places, I am on Facebook at OwlFoxOmens. I have a Gmail, um, which is owlfoxomens@gmail.com. And as of this recording, that's currently all I have. I am planning a website. Um, any links will be in below the description of this video, of all my other videos, all my links everywhere. And if you want to keep up with me, you know the drill on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. And if you found this on a podcast platform, sweet. Subscribe. Like, get me in your feeds. It'll be fun. Alright. But anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your whatever, and I will see you all in the videos. Bye.